Hey everybody, I am coming making this video message and I want to talk to you all about distractions. Now, I had a conversation with you guys, I think last year sometime, maybe at the end of the year, or it could have been at the end of the summer, but in one of my other video messages, I talked to you guys about how the enemy keeps you distracted. And one of the most common tricks of the enemy is to keep you blinded to what is going on around you. When you are not aware of what is going on around you, you may not know certain things that are going on within you. And there can be things going on with people that you really love and care about. The enemy likes to keep you blinded to these things, and he will use distractions. He may use a distraction. Maybe you're more focused on your job, and every day you are making your job your number one priority. And so because of you making your job your top and main priority, you are now neglecting your wife, your husband, your children, or certain friends. Now, don't get me wrong when I say neglect. Let me break that down for you all. When I say neglect, I'm not saying you are not taking care of your child or your children, and I am not saying that you are not acting like a wife or a husband should. But what I'm saying is that more time is spent prioritizing your job. You are more concerned maybe, or you just are putting more energy into your job. You are concerned about the hours. You are concerned about maybe what your boss is telling you, if the boss is putting more pressure on you. You are concerned about, okay, I have to work these amount of hours to build up my PTO. However that looks for you, that is what I'm referring to. Then on the other hand, some of you all may be distracted by being in ministry. When you are in ministry, you have to take a lot of time, and you put a lot of time into building your ministry. You could be a minister, a deacon, a deaconess. You could be one of the prayer warriors in the church. You could be a teacher for Sunday school. Whatever auxiliary you're on in church, you may be this type of person that I'm referring to, and you are distracted by church ministry, meaning that while there are things that are probably going on with your children, with your spouse if you have one, there may be some things going on with you, with your health, that you don't even know about. But because all of your time, or a lot of your time, is put into ministry and serving God's people and being in church all the time, you may go to prayer meeting, you may go to Bible study, then you turn around and you go to church on Saturday or Sunday. So a lot of your time is spent in the church. Meanwhile, there are things that are cracking and breaking and becoming chaotic with your children, or like I said, with your spouse, or it may be some things going on within you or your friends, but you are not tending to these things or to these people because your focus is in ministry. You may be in school, you're in college, you're trying to take a course because you want to own a business, or you are trying to go to school to become a nurse or an attorney or a doctor, and a lot of your time and energy is spent in your studies. You are focusing on studies, you are focusing on finals that are coming up, you are focusing on getting term papers in a timely fashion. And so every day, maybe when you get home, you are focused on school. Now, let me tell you all something. Don't feel bad about the fact that you may prioritize something. However, I want you all to know that the enemy, he wants us distracted. He wants us overly busy. He wants us focused on something that may not be major, and it may not be that super important, because the people and the things that we should be tending to and paying attention to, he wants to start to rob those areas. He wants to start to steal from those areas and cause confusion and cause heartbreak and cause chaos. Let me make you all understand something. When you are distracted and when you are not focused on more important matters and things, that is when the enemy will sometimes put his hands in those things. And when you finally do come into the knowledge of what is going on with your children or your child or your spouse or with you or with certain family members, sometimes it's too late. Or if it's not too late, a lot of the damage is already done. I'm going to share with you all something that went on with me a few years ago. And I want you all to take this because of my transparency. I want you all to take this as a cautionary tale so you do not make the same mistake. Or if you see it festering and manifesting now, you can step in it and you can do something. And I don't want you all to get discouraged by what I'm about to tell you, because God does restore. God does bring you into the knowledge and revelation of things that are going on around you, but God also will make you more aware of what's going on. See, sometimes when we have so many things going on in our life, we will unintentionally start to neglect other people or things that need to be taken care of. And by the time we get focused, by the time we start paying attention to other things, we realize just how much time we have spent on that one thing. And so I want you all to be aware of distractions. I'm not even going to say be aware of distractions in this season. I'm going to tell you all for the rest of your life. Be aware. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. I'm going to say that again. Pay attention to what you are paying attention to. What is your heart saturated in? What is the thing when you wake up, you get right on top of it? Could it be somebody that you're dating and you like them and you are prioritizing them more than your children or school or ministry or your health, mentally or physically or spiritually? Could it be that instead of spending more time talking to your children and asking your children questions, more of that time and energy is put into your job? You are more concerned about what your boss is telling you, or the boss or HR may be threatening you. And so you're taking those threats to a level where you're saying, well, my kids can wait, my husband can wait, my wife can wait. You know, I have to do this because if I don't pay attention to the threats my boss is giving me because I'm late, then I'm going to lose my job and not be able to pay bills and feed my children and my family. All I'm saying to you all is you've got to start paying attention and you have to find balance. That is the key. Prayer and balance, because when you pray and when you, and I have to get better with this as well. I am including myself into this, because when you pray, God keeps you connected to him and God begins to reveal certain things to you. The fact of the matter is that all of us are either guilty currently or we have been guilty of prioritizing something else. You may be a content creator. You may be a social media influencer, and you spend a lot of time working on your gift and your craft and your skill. Again, this is not to shame you. This is not to convict or condemn you. You're not doing anything wrong, but you have to find balance. Pick a time of the day that you're going to spend creating your content. Instead of working on your content for 3 or 4 hours, say I'm going to spend 1 hour or I'm going to spend 45 minutes working on it. And then for the next 2 hours, I'm going to spend time with my spouse. I'm going to spend time with my children. I'm going to make a doctor's appointment and I'm going to find out if anything is going on with me and just make sure everything is okay. I haven't had a physical in a while. Let me check on a certain family member. Let me check on one of my siblings. I haven't seen them in a while. Let me check on one of my friends. I'm telling you all, the enemy is very slick. He's very crafty. He's very cunning in what he does. And so he will begin bit by bit to break and crash things together, or he will begin to crumble certain things that are supposed to be more important to you if he can keep you distracted. So anyway, let me tell you guys, at my old job a few years ago, I was working so much. Sometimes I was doing 8 hours, but if I did 8 hours, excuse me, that was rare. Most of the time I was doing 10 and 12 hours, and then it even got to the point I was at work for 16 hours. And so with me spending all of this time at work, by the time I got off of work, I would be exhausted. Sometimes I didn't have the strength and the energy to even cook dinner for my children. I would always have to run to the store and get something really quick that was microwavable that my kids can eat. And a lot of times I couldn't even pay attention to what was going on with my children. I didn't have the strength and the energy to really ask them, what is going on in school? How are you guys doing, with homework? Let me see your homework. Have you completed your homework? Because me being a single mom, I'm trying to keep my sanity, go to work, because I understand I'm the only one that can depend on myself. Outside of God, I can't go to anybody else to pay a bill for me or to do certain things. Yes, I had a couple of people, my son and daughter grandmother, and at the time my mother was alive, they would pitch in and they would help to a certain extent. But at the same time, they were not in my household. It was just me and my 2 children in my household. And so I'm trying to stay focused for work so I could get up on time. I had to make sure I was in the bed at a certain amount of time so I can have the strength and energy to go to work so I wouldn't call off. Then after work, I got to focus on, okay, did the kids eat? If they didn't eat, I got to go get something quick. I can't spend a lot of time putting a lot of energy into cooking a meal that's going to take me 1 or 2 hours, because I need to be in the bed by 7, because my day started very early. Some days I would have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, or 4 o'clock, or 4:30 in the morning. And then I was not even working in Chicago. I had to drive to my job almost 1 hour outside of Chicago. And so what I'm saying is that I started to find out over time there were things going on with my children. It wasn't anything that was like really over the top, but I saw it in their grades. Their grades were not that great. Their grades were really low. Scores were really low. And then if their grades started to go back up, they got upset because they told me, Mom, you're never at home. You're always at work. And then when we come home, you're in the bed, sleep. Even on the weekend, let's just say I didn't work on a particular Saturday, or maybe I didn't go to work on a Sunday, depending on how the week went. I would not even have the energy and strength to even go to a movie with my kids, or to go walk around the mall, or to go get something to eat. Or when they were talking to me, my focus was not fully there, because my whole frame of mind was just work, 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 work. And so then on top of that, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be a single mother. I'm trying to stay focused on work. And then I'm trying to struggle to keep my relationship with God. It was there, but I'm like, I'm barely praying. I'm not going to church like I should. I was going to church here and there. You know what I'm saying? It was various things going on. And so when I started to find out certain things going on with my son and with my daughter, and even with certain friends, I was getting phone calls from friends that were going through battles, either in their health, or they were going through things in their job, and I was not available to talk to them and maybe just be a listening ear or to pray for them. There were different things going on with other family members. So what I'm saying to you all is that I stayed distracted. And by the time I realized that I was so focused and prioritizing my job, relationships that I had with friends, relationships that I had with my children, relationships that I had with my family members, it changed. Certain people got offended. Certain people were hurt. I was hurt about certain things that I found out. And that's what the enemy does. The enemy will bring opportunities your way. The enemy will have doors that come to you that are not from God, but the doors open. And when you take it, sometimes it puts you in a position where you are now neglecting other things and people that matter. So all I'm saying to you all before I get out of here is to be careful to not be distracted. Stay focused. Prioritize everything and everybody. Find balance. You have got to find balance in every aspect of your life. If you are spending an excessive amount of time online, on social media, if you are spending an excessive amount of time with someone you're dating or you like, if you're spending an excessive amount of time with friends and you are now neglecting your spouse, all I'm saying to you all, because this is going to look, distractions for a lot of you all, it looks different. And so as I'm speaking and you're viewing this, you will already know what the distraction or distractions are. And so now you've got to prioritize and you've got to balance out everything that you have going on. So guys, that's the video message. I hope that it helps you all, and I hope that when you become more aware and awakened to things that are going on with your family, maybe with you, I hope that it's not too late and certain things or relationships have not gotten so bad and out of order that there is no coming back from it. So that's the video message. Well, guys, it's time for me to go because I have some other things to do. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. If any one of you have taken offense to anything I spoke about in this video message, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not worried about it. I am not concerned because I know you will forgive me in the morning.